All right, guys, now that you've seen some of the awesome analytical features that you can see inside of AdStellar, we're now going to get into the bulk launching side of AdStellar, which is honestly my favorite part, right? So the cool thing is like you pull in all of these campaigns into AdStellar, it parses out all of the different elements of your campaign from the targeting, the creative, the copy, all of these different things that go into a successful Facebook ad campaign. And then what we're able to do is take them and find the perfect combinations of winners to launch new ads. Okay, so when we want to launch a manual bulk campaign, right? We come into the campaigns here, and on this page you see we don't have any yet, but this is where we'll see all of our drafts. If we do an AI campaign, which we'll show you in the next video, that will be an AI launch. We can create templates, and this is where the launches will show when we launch to Meta. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and show you how to build your first campaign inside of AdStellar. Now, when we click Start a New Campaign, it brings us into the campaign building interface. Okay, now this is going to feel very similar to Meta, to Facebook Ads Manager, but it is just a way better experience. So we're going to come in here, select our ad account. The campaign name, this is where we have these, since you want to be able to have scalable naming conventions, we have these different naming conventions where you can put things like, what your budget type, campaign objective, and there's a bunch of kind of dynamic tokens you can use here. But in this case, we'll just say grant AdStellar 001, okay, for the campaign name. The objective, leads, sales, etc. We'll do leads here and go to the ad sets. All right, then we get to the ad set, same thing. Let's set our ad set name. I use one of these templates. I just use the advanced template, which means when this goes to Meta, it's going to be audience template name, locations, age, gender, custom audiences we're using. But there's tons of dynamic tokens that you can put in here if you want something specific to show up in your naming conventions. Conversion, this comes from our conversion tracking pixel that is set up from our Meta ad connection, and I'll select a lead event. You have all the different options like you do in Meta, one-day view or no. Budget and schedule, we'll leave $10. If you want to add a start date and end date, you can. And now we get to the audiences, okay? So we don't have any audiences here, or actually we do. But what I'll do is I'll go ahead and create a new audience. So this audience is basically what I'm going to be using for my ad sets inside of Meta. But there's a couple really cool different features here that you can do inside of AdStellar that you can't do in Meta. Okay, the first thing I'm going to start with is this Winners Hub. So as you know now, you've imported all of your campaigns or whatever campaign into AdStellar. We now have that. And so what we've done is we've parsed out all of the different elements of your campaigns, and we're able to show you like, hey, here's an example, location, United States. You've used this, basically $3,445 spent, 670 clicks, 102 results. Average cost per result is this. And if we want to add it to our audience, we can. But it's really giving you context. It's giving you the numbers that's matching the ad element that's been used. Same thing if we go to interests. If we're like, what interests have worked well in the past, aka from our previous campaigns? We can come in here, and this pulls in the last 30 days of data. And you can basically go through and be like, oh, wow. Okay, this was 25 using this marketing strategy. Interest gives us $25 cost per result. We go to the bottom here, we can see like MailChimp is $35 cost per result, right? So it gives you all of these options that you've used in your past campaigns. Same with custom audiences and other things like that. And it tells you what the actual results have been for that audience. So if you're always wondering, does my 1% lookalike do better or does my 5% lookalike do better? You import the campaign and then AdStellar just simply tells you, and it's really nice. And then what you can do is you actually can, basically select this stuff and click apply to template, okay? And then if I come in here, now I have United States as a location, okay? If I want to add Canada, I can do Canada too, and it works the same way as Meta in terms of all of those different things, all right? Custom audiences, these will come in directly from your ad account, right? So all these different custom audiences that you already have set up, you can go ahead and select those whenever you want. Demographics, gender, detailed targeting. So if I want to come in here, do digital marketing or whatever interest you guys want, they pull in directly from Meta. Okay, so it's the same exact thing. Languages, placements, the whole thing. Now this is where AdStellar is super cool. Okay, if I wanted to do multiple, let's just say interest targeting, one ad set for one interest, I would then, and then another ad set for a different interest, I would have to duplicate the ad set, right? A lot of duplication. It's just so annoying. So if I want to do, same thing with custom audience. If I want to test 3 different custom audiences in Meta, you have to duplicate, create multiple ad sets. In AdStellar, you just add a different variant. And it always gives you this up here, right? So what I'll basically do is if I'm like, I want to test 3 different interests in their own ad sets. I want to test digital marketing, and then I want to test, let's say, digital marketing strategist, and then I want to test, let's just say, new page admins. Fine, great. So right now, this is all in the same ad set. I'm targeting all of these together. But if I want to actually do a different ad set, I would click New Detailed Targeting Variant. When I click this, and then I come down here, and I do New Page Admins, okay, and I add this here, and then I get rid of it, you'll notice here now we have 2 ad sets. Why? Because this is a new variant, okay? We have 2 detailed targeting variants, okay? Same thing here. If I want to take this, okay, come down here, put it down here, do a space, okay, digital marketing strategist. It's not showing up. Let's see. Okay, digital marketing. Let's see. Sometimes Meta's weird with this. And then it shows up in the suggestions. There it is. Meta's weird. And that comes in directly from Meta, guys. So then I get rid of this. So now I have 3 variants. Okay? That's 3 different ad sets. Ad set 1 will be digital marketing. Ad set 2 will be this. Ad set 3 will be this. Instead of like having to build out all of these different, full ad sets and duplicate and all this type of stuff, I can just do it here. Okay? Now let's say I want to do another audience variant, okay, up here, and I want to do this. Now we have 6 ad sets. Why? Because we have 2 unique custom audience variants, and then 1 of everything else, except that we then have 3 detailed targeting. So 3 times 2 is 6, times 1 everything else is just 6, right? So it literally is creating unique ad set variants for all of the different it's creating unique ad sets based on all the different variants you're targeting, right? So if I wanted to come down here and say, you know what? I also want to do age variant. I want to target 25 to 65, but then I also want to do another variant of 55 to, 55 to 62, right? 62. There we go. So now we have 12 ad sets, right? Because it's creating 2 custom audiences times 2 age ranges times 3 detailed targeting, right? So you have this ability to bulk build and then launch a ton of split tests on Meta, okay? So that's pretty much how this works. Now we can do like grant audience test 1, okay? And we can save this. And now we have this here, okay? And so if I get out of here, now we've selected it. If I want to unselect it, I can come in here, select it again, hit select, and now we have that, okay? Now if you want to add multiple of these in here, you can do that as well. And so you can get really expansive with how many split tests you really want to do, all right? So then we'll come through here. Optimization and delivery is no different. We'll continue now to the ad level, okay? Now inside the ad level, again, you have your naming template. You can name this with the dynamic parameters that you want. We'll come in here and select our fan page, our Facebook fan page. We will come in and do our Instagram if you have one. If not, it'll use the fan page. Then we get into the creatives, right? So we can select the creative templates from the ads that we've imported, or we can create a new one, okay? I'll start with one of the templates, right? So if I come in here and I'll just click this edit button, it pulls up the entire thing that I've already built, right, from the AI combo. And so if I want to basically grab different media. I can upload my own. This is what was imported from Meta. We have our primary text variants. We have our headlines, call to actions, destination URLs. And guys, this is the really cool thing, right? So in the top right, you'll see one ad will be created. The same thing that I showed you on the audience level with the variants also works here. And so you can get really, really wild with how many different tests you want to run, right? And so let's just go into the Winners Hub here. And it's going to give me all the results for my different elements. So if I want to add this image to this as well. Let me go to my headlines, and let's go ahead and take this headline, and let's look at the primary text here, and let's go ahead and look this one, and I'm going to add these to my template. Okay, so now I have this primary text, I have this primary text, I have these two images. Okay, and that creates two different media assets. We can do the breakdown here. So 2 creatives and 2 different primary texts. That's 4 ad variations total, 4 ad variants, right? If I want to come down here and do a new headline here, that adds 8, right? 2 creatives, 2 primary texts, 2 headlines, 8 ads total. 8 unique ads total, right? Because what it does is it takes this creative, puts it with this headline, also takes this creative, puts it with that headline. You guys get the idea, okay? Or that text, okay? So you have all of these different variations. And again, the Winners Hub there is for you if you want to easily add them. We can go ahead and click, I'll change the name here, Grant Test 1. We'll hit save. Okay, so here's our test with our 4 variants. We can go ahead and click here, hit select in the bottom, and now we have this. So we have total ads 4. Okay, so UTM parameters, you can come in here and do them optional. If you want to save certain parameters as template, you can. I save some commently ones, apply, and then we'll hit continue to review. So once we get to the review and publish page, we're basically just looking high level at what we've built so far, right? So, and it gives you a really good high level summary of everything. So if there's any errors, it's going to let you know here before you go ahead and publish to Meta that you need to fix certain things. But it gives you a high level overview here. So it says you're going to publish 12 ad sets, 4 ads inside each ad set. So 12 and 4 is 48 total ad variations, okay? Now, if I go ahead down here and I click publish, this goes to my Meta ad account, okay, as a inactive campaign. So you have to basically then go to Meta and turn everything on so we don't publish them as active for you. That way you can go into Meta, look at how everything was put into the ad account, make sure everything looks perfect before you go ahead and publish. The other thing you have here is you have this cool campaign map. This is a lot of ads. And if you just want to see like high level the structure of how everything looks, you can click the campaign map. And it kind of gives you this really cool high level overview of, okay, this is our whole entire campaign. You know, here are all of our different ad sets and the different ad variants inside each ad set. I can click it. I can see what this ad set is going to be. I can click each ad and look at each ad variation, each ad variant, right? So I can see this one versus this one versus this one. So you can sort of see the different ad variations very easily, high level. So it's a cool feature if you have a big launch and you're just trying to cross your T's and dot your I's. The next thing is the creative testing mode. So this is where if you want to take every single unique ad that you've created, right? Every unique variant and put them into their own separate ad set, this button does that, okay? So if I click this button, what this now does is this creates 48 ad sets with one ad in each ad set, okay? Now this is going to drastically increase your budget because without it, we're doing 12 ad sets, 4 inside each, so 48 total ads. So that's, you know, at $10 a day, each ad set, that's $120 total. If I click this, $10 a day, 48 ad sets, we're now at $480. This is like the ultimate split test machine though, because for anybody running Meta ads, you know, putting a unique ad inside of each ad set is a really good way to test, because every ad then gets equal distribution of the budget, versus if you pile them all into the same ad set, Meta then decides where to put the ad budget. Okay, so this creative testing mode gives you just unbelievable clarity and launches a ton of ad sets, each with one ad inside each of them. Okay, so we'll turn that off for right now for this example. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and click publish. And what this does is now this publishes it to your ads manager. So when you get to this page, it says successfully launched. Now you need to configure results and goals. Okay, so what you do here is you select your result metric, and then what you'll do here is you will select your performance goal. Okay, so same thing that you did when you imported your campaign. So here I'll do my actual cost per result goal of $20. I'll click save and monitor launch. Okay, and then here we are. Now we're monitoring the launch. We can see it's 20% complete so far, going off to Meta. And it's done 8 of 12 ad sets, and it has not started on the ads yet. But usually this goes pretty fast. Doesn't take longer than just a couple minutes. All right, guys, so once the campaign has published to Meta, you can actually go ahead and you can click this button that says View in Meta, and then it's going to literally pull up your Meta ad account. It's going to show you the campaign in Meta. You'll be able to analyze it. And then as you start to do more launches, you'll see them add up here. You can clear them if you feel like it gets a little too busy. Also, if there's any issues, any errors that happen with the launch, and a lot of times that can happen because Meta is always updating their API. There's some rate limiting stuff. So you may see like partial, you may see an error. It may ask you to retry the launch. Those types of things can happen here. If anything happens that you're not sure why, go ahead and just in the bottom right corner, message our support team. They'll be able to help. But that's how you basically build a manual campaign, guys. And with just an insane amount of ad sets and ads and tons of tests, you can get it live into Meta really seamlessly. All right, so thanks for joining us in this video. The next video, we're going to show you how to use AI to actually make this whole process 10 times faster. So we'll see you there.